Hi, welcome to the Miami Open. My name is Chuck Gill. I'm the director of tennis currently for the Village of Wellington Tennis Center, which is a 21-court public tennis facility in Wellington, Florida. We were talking a little earlier about the growth of tennis and how it's grown in the U.S. Well, I think after COVID and the pandemic, everybody was really looking for something to do outside. Everybody was looking for a sport that was safe. And I have to say tennis is probably about the safest sport because while you can be socially close to people, you are physically gifted. So everybody thought it was a safe sport, and that's why the participation numbers are up 20 to 25% in the last 2 years. Well, in my prior role as the president of the United States Professional Tennis Association, we're about 15,000 global tennis coaches. So as president of that association, we're really big on coach education, trying to make sure that our coaches were better at their jobs and better qualified. And we wanted to make sure that they're able to deliver tennis not just to tour players, but also to beginners, because that's really one of the keys to grow the game. You need to have a good base of players, both adult, juniors, seniors. Sometimes seniors are forgotten. But in this country, we're about to have the biggest boom of retirees that are leaving the workforce, and they're all going to have disposable time, and they're going to want to do something. So being able to have coaches for entry-level players is going to be really, really huge. As far as the elite players and tour professionals, a lot gets made about the fact that we haven't had a Grand Slam champion on the men's side in the U.S. for, I think, almost 20 years. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that's about to change because right now we have the largest number of Americans, largest number of players in the top 100, and with Tommy Paul and Taylor Fritz and Francis Tiafoe and a lot of the young players coming up, I think it's a matter of time before we start having players that are in the winner's circle at majors. It was only a couple of years ago that we were hoping to have players that are playing the second week in majors, but I think we're kind of over that hurdle because almost every major recently we've had players that are there at the end in the final week in semis and quarters. So I think it's just a matter of time before some of our players come through and win a major. Again, a lot of people forget that for the last 20 years there have been 3 individuals named Roger, Rafa, and Novak that have been very greedy about giving up titles. They've been pretty much dominating, but as they start to retire and are leaving the game, although Novak shows no sign of slowing down, I think it's a matter of time before we start having a new generation, and I think the U.S. is poised to really be at the forefront then. Well, I think as far as coaching goes, in the United States, California has always been a hotbed, but Florida has especially been a hotbed for training up-and-coming professionals. I think obviously the climate has a lot to do with it. We can play tennis 12 months a year outdoors. You can play on a variety of surfaces. You have clay courts here as well as hard courts. You do have a number of academies that have been very, very successful. Obviously IMG, Saddlebrook, Rick Macy has developed a ton of players at his academy in Boca Raton. And, of course, you have the Sanchez Academy over in Naples. So I think Florida has always had a reputation of being a place where people from not just the U.S. but from all over the world have wanted to come and train and get excellent coaching. Not only you get excellent coaching because you have so many players trying to get really, really good and achieve excellence, you also have a nice built-in community of players that want to compete. So it's not uncommon to go to a Florida tournament, whether it's a section tournament, USTA, or whether it's a UTR tournament, and you're going to find the quality at the local tournaments as good as most tournaments you might go to play nationally. So local play in Florida is certainly as good as anywhere you'll find in the world.